So we're doing this HSEL. I think that's the high school league. Average SR is around 2.3k. 2 are unranked, so I assume it's those who aren't even level 25 yet. Just interesting. Alright. I'd like to know the average SR of the other team as well. It also sounds like you're at a land center, so maybe not the best for concentration. I'm not sure though. Okay, just looking at levels alone, I'm gonna assume that none of these are Smurf accounts. You two probably look like you have the most experience, so I'm gonna expect you two to perform significantly better than the others. I'm gonna actually double check your post because I know you mentioned ranks there. Goins or plat. Yeah, so you and Goins are pretty okay. Robots is silver and Scrum is gold. Okay. So yeah, 2.3k would be pretty okay. Estimate. Ooh, okay. Junkrat. Okay, so Sanctum is a pretty interesting map. Orisa Hog is definitely pretty common on it. Lucio is kind of common, I'd say. I've seen it run quite a bit. Junkrat, I haven't seen it as much recently, but it is like the OG Junkrat map. It's definitely not bad. The more it's not the best, there's obviously better picks, but it's not the worst. And then the Soldier's okay for the map. So overall, it's an okay comp. It could be improved upon, like, Orisa's good or Hog is good, but then maybe get like a Somber Doom here and there, or like Widow, Farah even. That's what my team runs on this map. Even, like, keep the junk, run Sombra or Tracer or something. Soldier isn't the best pick. Lucio's okay. I don't know, I'm trying to draw there. I personally don't like running Lucio with the Orisa. I feel like he loses a lot of value because it's a stationary team comp. It's not bad, especially on Sanctum. And then the more on Ana would be better, but it's okay. It's fine. Hanzo's a good pick. I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, the Hanzo would be good here. Also, your minor thing, but I would recommend getting like a Discord or something for you guys to play in instead of the group chat. Just because you can organize stuff a lot better there. This is like a small thing, you might already have this, but since you're using that, I would just recommend getting like a Discord or something just for your team. Just like for organization and communication about when you guys can, if you guys do practice, like when you have time to, and when your matches are, make sure everyone's on the same page. Although I actually kind of like that because I can see like who everyone is, like at least for this scenario. When you shoot, okay, right there, you go back. Right. First of all, you delay placing your shield. It's okay because it doesn't look like they have. I can't really see, but it doesn't look like they have a Widow, so no one is really at risk of dying to anything but a hook. I don't even know if they have a hog, but right here, you pull, and you should be shooting. You can shoot while your pull is going off, right? They are running fair mercy, so you're actually at a big risk of dying, and that's a mixture of being unfortunate, or like unlucky, and kind of bad positioning. You didn't know they had a fair at the start, but once you saw it, your team should have backed up a bit, or even rotate around that way to point, played in that corner. You had the speed boost, so you should have been able to, at least I think it was up. So realistically, no one should be dying to the boop there, and someone died to a pull as well. And that's a very slow moving projectile. I don't think they use the spot that pulls people. I'm not sure though, I didn't see it. Kind of an awkward shield, but it looks like you got booped from it. And at this point, you should probably just jump off the map. Your entire team is dead, and there's no real reason to stall. You should just get out and start looking for a regroup. Stay out, that's a really good call. Don't, again, very minor things. It's better to focus on what your plan for the next fight is going into it rather than complaining about the map choice. Just as like a general rule of thumb, you should focus on the match, and if you have gripes with it, complain after it, not during it. Just, maybe it's just me because I have ADHD and I have trouble focusing, but if I like take my focus off the match, I have trouble staying focused back onto it again. So just a generally good tip. That's a really big kill by your tracer. Unlucky pull. You should be asking for heals right now. You shouldn't just be standing backwards. You said in chat, why is that white? Oh no, it was just loading. You say it in chat, but you have a voice chat. You can be saying heal your Arista, you know? But you just let yourself die. You also had shield up, so you could have placed shield like right there while you were still, like you could have peeked, placed shield, went back, wait for shield to go up, or even thrown it over that ledge and placed it there. There's a lot of things there that would have resulted in you staying alive even if you hadn't gotten heals. You shouldn't have peeked without putting a shield down. Before you started shooting at the Arista, you should have placed a shield even. I like the positivity. Oh, I should look at the enemy team comp. Okay. So, yeah, they swapped off Thera. I don't know what their initial comp was. I know they had a Thera. I don't know if they had a Junk or not. They're running Widow now, so you should be careful about that. They were always running those two, I'm pretty sure, and I don't think they swapped supports at this. Like, I'm not entirely sure if like what's going on with that here. If Mercy doesn't have ult, they should totally be swapping off of her to like an Honor or something, but it doesn't really matter too much. And then Arisa Hog, like I said, is pretty good on this point. Very, very good, I guess. And that's another really good kill by your Tracer, getting the early kills, but no one was really in a spot to take advantage. It's just going to stall them a little bit. If you guys were in a better spot, I know you're walking from spawn, so you can't really control it, but if you guys were in a better spot, or if you could have held off on killing her for a little bit, instead of just going for it, you might have just straight up won a team fight, and it would have gotten you guys a lot more time. And then unfortunately, your Lucio dies to spam. You don't have shield on cooldown. There's not too much you can do except for not wide peek a door or stand inside a door against a Junk Widow, but you know, that's another thing. Don't stand inside of doors against Junk Widow. It just gives them free sight lines, I guess. Get on point. That's a pretty good call, but you're playing pretty far out when you're down 3 people. You should just be playing in the back corner and trying to get as much percent, because you're almost definitely not going to win this fight unless you hit a massive pull or something, or your Tracer pops off, which she doesn't. Junk's really low. You should be calling, like you saw 2 people super low HP there, you should have called that out. And please don't ult. Okay, yeah. Good calls from whoever was saying they got it. Who was that? Yeah, that was everyone. But yeah, that was a good call from no ults. They got it. Very good. And you're coming up on 6 ults. I think they have around that too. They actually swapped Lucio over to Brig, which is very interesting. That is not a very that's not a lot of healing. You have a lot more sustain mid fight, especially with beat drop. They probably have Valk, but you have beat coalescence, so you have permanently more sustain at this point. That's just not a lot of healing. Or utility or defensive ults. I actually don't understand why they're running that. There's no reason to run Break there, except Tracer, but I don't really need to. Mercy can just fly away. So that's kind of weird. Good call from you, making sure your team knows you're not there, and your Lucio goes to taxi. I'm not a fan of that beat drop. I've definitely done it before, but I'm not a fan of it. Just because you're doing it so early in the fight that you lose almost all of its value before the fight starts because it is the way it decays, you know? One thing I personally would never... I'm not an Ursa player, but I personally would never left shift versus a Hoggle, just because a lot of the time the pushback, if you're not going into a pit, which I guess you were there, but your team is already dead, so it doesn't really matter. If you're not going into a pit, the knockback from the Hoggle can actually help you because it deals more damage close up. And with your left shift, you don't move, so he just gets to shred you faster than if you were to get knocked back. And that was a fast fight, so it was good from you guys, not too late staggers. Nice hook. You're even here. You should be walking forwards. Your hog should not be walking forwards before you. You should already have a shield on point. When you're walking there, you should be throwing the shield onto point. Just so since your hog was ahead of you, he should have a safe place to be able to fight. And the Arista got behind you. I don't know how that happened. That's interesting. You should be focusing the bongo, not her. Big thing there. You should kill the bongo first. Oh, I guess if you lose, we're dead, so it doesn't actually matter that much. But bongo should die first most of the time. Like that was a good example of when the bongo should die first. Yeah, you go Reinhardt Zarya, please. Please, Reinhardt Zarya. Oh. Generally speaking, if you're not as strong players, not to be rude, but like a 2.3k average team dive can definitely work, but Rein Zarya is definitely safer, especially considering it looks like some of your players are fairly new to the game, you know, those guys, even kind of him. It looks like they're pretty new. So that's definitely the safer bet. It was a good thing saying that you don't know if it's strong enough. In scrims, if you guys scrim, I don't know. Koth's pretty tank dominated in this metagame. Sorry. But yeah, that's a good way to play. If it doesn't work, let's swap. You know. Again, DPS running McCree Genji. I don't fully understand the McCree with this comp. Maybe if you had like a Zen or an Ana, it would be a little more sense, even though... Alright, let me stop it for a second. Let me go back. Okay. So, first, your Tracer swapped to Genji, which to me means you don't have... Your DPS players don't have fully organized roles. So basically, you probably know this, but I'm just going to explain it. There's 6 roles. There's main tank, off tank, or flex. That's what it's called sometimes, but more recently it's just off tank. There's fucking mind blank. Oh yeah, okay. Main support. I'm sorry. I feel the need to write everything out to keep my thoughts going. Flex support, and then hit scan DPS and projectile DPS, and generally these are the roles on a team. So this one's fairly obvious. It's like Ryan. Not Zarya. Jesus. Ryan, Winston, Orisa. That's what you're playing right there. Ooh, let me go back. Blue. Okay. Yeah, it's Ryan, Winston, Orisa, Wrecking Ball. Well, I consider Wrecking Ball a main tank a lot. So it's like debated, but every time I've seen him successfully work, it's as a main tank. So, and then off tanks, there's Zarya, Diva, Hog, right? Excuse me. And then the main support is it's kind of debated because there are two ways supports are kind of separated as main healer, main support, like main healer, off healer, and then main support, flex support. I prefer this classification because it just makes more sense to me. But if your Lucio player is better at more and Ana, then your flex support, then that works, and then Ana. And then the flex support generally is, they used to be Zen 1 tricks, now they play Ana and more as well, right? This is completely based, you'll notice Ana's there and there. It's completely based on who plays them in comps. So right now Ana in like Lucio Ana comps is played by flex support, but in Zen Ana comps played by Ana, and then generally that's the hit scans, like Widow, Tracer, Soldier, Sombra sometimes, although often Sombra is played by the projectile and Tracer, Sombra comps, and then also Brig a lot of the time, and Zarya in triple tank comps, and then the projectile sometimes goes to Brig, but other than that, mostly just projectiles and sometimes Zarya. It depends on who your stronger Zarya is between those two, or who your stronger Brig is, it doesn't really matter. But because your Tracer swapped to Genji and whoever he was on Soldier, he's playing McCree now, I think. It tells me that you don't have perfectly defined roles. You should have plans going into maps of what you want to run. So yeah, a big thing you should do, like, get the map pool for whatever league you're playing. Say you're on Nepal, right? And then just go like Sanctum, we're gonna play these heroes at the start of every match, and then Village, you know, we're gonna play these heroes, right? And then whatever the last one's called, what's it called? I don't remember. The last one, you know, you just choose, and as the match goes on, you can, you know, morph your comp into what you want, and if you find something's working better, you can totally change it. But it's better to go in with a general idea, especially organized roles, than specializing your players in specific roles. So yeah, so the guy who was on Tracer went to Genji, and the guy who went, yeah. Just something I noticed. It's better to have specialized roles. If they're both comfortable on whatever, it's perfectly fine, but specialization is usually better for team play. You should leap out of spawn. It's going to be up by the next time you need it, but again, very minor things. Oh yeah, there was one other thing. I really don't like this because it doesn't really work with your team comp. You're playing dive, kind of. Dive, and then not really, but it can work. I've seen Lucio Moira dive before. McCree, I've seen it with dive, but a lot of the time McCree's purpose in dive was always to either sit on Zen and protect or counter Fair Mercy, but he doesn't do either of those better. Then like he's outclassed in that by Brig there and Widow there. So and your team doesn't have a Zen or even an Ana, right? You're running Lucio Moira, who are super mobile supports that don't need anyone to peel extremely hard for them, so that's not why. And if you're expecting them to run Pharah, you just go, oh, you should just play, what's it called? Widow. And I noticed that guy played Soldier and that guy played McCree now, so he's probably your hit scan player. I'm going to assume that this guy's your projectile because he was on Junk and Hanzo at the very start and before going Tracer, and he just is a confident Tracer. I'm going to assume that, but it's still better to go in with rolls. And also, I don't fully understand McCree there, but it's okay. It could be worse. I just feel like there are better options. Even like a Tracer would be good there, Sombra would be good. If you can play Doomfist, Doomfist would be pretty good, you know. Also, Ana would be better than Mora again. That's just like a general statement. Okay, so right there, their Reinhardt dropped. There was like a full second before their Brig fall, maybe 2 seconds before their Brig fall. If you dive onto that Rein, the second he drops, he's dead. There's nothing he can do. So, definitely react faster to that. You're not diving. Now you are, but you don't call it. You didn't really call dives. You should, I don't know. You didn't call your dive, and then you stayed when your team wasn't fighting. You were trying to kind of just poke, I guess. And that was, Ryan is hard feeding on point, so it's good that you turn on him. But as soon as you get on him, your team turns away. So you got to be calling targets out, right? Like, you saw their Ryan drop at the start, you just spam Ryan over voice. And then you saw, I think their Mercy got low, you spam Mercy. And their Ryan started feeding on point. This is with your voice, by the way. You're like, Ryan, 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 Ryan. And then if he gets out or he's dead, you say Mercy, 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 right? Like, if it's the loudest thing your team hears, they're going to focus it. It might be obnoxious at first, but it's it's very important to do. Especially if your team isn't focusing the same target. You should be jumping away here. Yeah, very good, very good. Good disengage. And see, Ryan kills one, but it's punishable. There's a Mega behind you. There's a Mega behind that wall right there to your left that you could have gotten. Definitely should have, because if you want to recontest, okay, so twice there, your 2 jumps in a row, you messed up. If you're not 100% comfortable with Monkey, I would just recommend kind of like going into a practice range and just jumping, you know? That's all. Just practicing your jumps, figuring out like, if I want to go from there to there, where do I need to place my mouse? If I need to go this super obscure thing I'm never going to need to do in a game, but it's going to teach me a cool tech that I need to know, let me do that 100 times or something. Not 100, like, do it 10 times until you can get it consistently 10 times an hour or something, you know? Just because those are pretty big mistakes, like, not big mistakes, but pretty potentially costly mistakes. Also, get the Mega, because at this point, your Mora is just wasting juice. You have Primal here, you should be communicating that. And your Diva lost mech, which is unfortunate. You're waiting, you're not doing anything, you're just wasting time. This is something that happens a lot at lower ranks. Even when your Diva, like, you're basically 5.5 v6, right? And they have armor, so it's even harder for you to do anything. You should still be doing something. You're literally standing at your gate. This is your gate. These dots are your team. Except that one, because I can't count. Right, these dots are your team. The entire enemy team is over here getting armor, you know, waiting, getting their percent up, and you're sitting ducks, do not do anything. You have to be doing something. Waiting is one of the worst things, like, waiting while you have all 6 people in the choke, even if you don't have mech, is one of the absolute worst things you can do. Because even if you dive in and make the Reinhardt turn around, your Diva can build ult off of that. You know, you can probably kill someone, and unfortunately your Pharah dies, so my point is kind of null. Your Mercy just jumped off the map. She's just a hard feeder at that point. It's over, GG's. I'm joking, of course, but... And your Mora, again, kind of wasting resource. There's a Mega over to your left that you're just staring at this point. I think your Mora probably has ult. I don't know, because you don't press tab, which is another thing. You should... I do it a lot, because again, I have ADHD. I spam buttons a lot, but tab is pretty important, especially for the main support and main tank, because those are roles that, you know, you need to have a good understanding of everything that's going on, tracking the ults both for your team and the enemy team. And you need to know what ults your team has, but you like almost never press tab, so you don't know what ults your team has. You press it right there though. Unless I've just been missing it, but I don't think you have. I have. Yeah. So they have every ult except for her because she just used hers. They have this, they have that, they have that, they have that, they have that. 100%. Actually, I don't think about it. They might not have that. They might not have her because she didn't do much the first fight, and you guys have been standing around for, what is it, 40%, 50%, right? So what I would recommend doing here is diving their Hanzo. Because if they do have Grav, your best bet is killing Hanzo before you can get the dragon off. And if you can kill Hanzo before he gets the dragon off, you have a chance of not wiping in Grav. That whoever just said means you have something is completely right, and your Pharah is doing something. The big unfortunate thing there, also never res. You're up to so many people that it's just a big throw to res. It's okay. They did not waste nano actually, because they used, okay, so you used barrage, right? I know you did. They used shatter. They used nano, right? They still have 4 ults, and their Ryan is getting, or he's only 10% ish, but you know he got some ult charge off of the nano. I wrote Valk again. That's supposed to say nano. Right, he got something off of it, and they almost came back from the fight. So it's 1 for 2, but they still have ult advantage over you because of the amount of kills you got with the ult, and then you only have like, I don't know if you use coalescence or not, your team, but there's a chance you like only have primal, and they still have around 3 or 4 ults. They have ultimate advantage, so it's actually not a big deal that they wasted those ults. They'd be in a better spot if they hadn't, but it's not the big deal. Also, your D.Va's hardcore feeding. Something really cool about Mora actually is that he didn't really need to back up there. He should have. He didn't need to though, because Mora can just walk up with send an orb, walk up, heal him full, and then if he's in a bad spot, fade out. So technically he didn't need to back up, but he still should have. But he didn't need it just for heals. Like, he didn't need to for heals. Also, call out the Ana's low. Like, you called her she was dead. You didn't call out she was low. And is the enemy team running 3 supports? They had a Mercy, right? Yeah, they're running triple support. Holy fuck. Okay, so learning, right? So there's 1 viable 3 support comp. Well, there's 2. Scratch that. Actually, there's 3. I'm very indecisive. Okay, 3. So, one of them contains Zen Lucio. One of them contains Ana Lucio. And the other one contains Mora Lucio. Right? Those are only 2 supports. So, the 3rd support, right? And this is the main support. That's the flex support. The 3rd one for all 3 of them, I guess Lucio's in all 3 of them, right? But is Brig. All of them have Brig, and there's a reason for this. Brig is, there's a reason she's played in DPS role instead of an Optic role. It's because she provides enough utility and damage to the team while also providing everything the team needs to justify not having a damaged player there. So the comp they're running is, I can't think of a worse one actually. Mercy, Lucio, Ana. I guess replace Lucio with Mora, you probably have the worst possible 3 support comp. Because you have 1 defense ult, and these you have at least 1. Rally can be used, like that's 1, right? That's 2. And then that's like half of 1, because it can be used to survive grabs. Then you have an extremely, like 2 extremely strong heroes, and 1 kind of meh. That's the only time you should really ever play Mora, in my opinion. But the one they're running is extremely bad and very abusable. All you have to do is choose Mercy, Lucio, or Ana and dive one of them. Brig is an extremely important part of goats. I'm obviously not the person who created it, but in my opinion, it was a comp kind of morphed around the Brig, and that's the reason it works. The entire reason that the comp works is because of Brigitte, in my opinion. So, you know, good not chasing that kill. Good on your diva for calling out that she is baby diva. Not all divas do that, and sometimes you're the one Sin feeds because of it. Who are you talking to? Who's Evan? Is that your I'm gonna assume it's your Mercury. It might be your Pharaoh. Wait, who is the it might be oh no, it's probably your Mora. No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, it's your Mora. I'm gonna assume. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're still in that horrible triple support comp. You didn't need a coalescence. They're already down 2. You really didn't, but it's okay. You could have saved it. It's fine though. Your win condition in every fight or most fights, seems to be barrage. So I'm actually interested to see how you play this fight without it. Okay, you're going in with a plan, which is really good. Your Mercy's dead, and your entire team is shattered, but you're fucking fragging, dude. Unfortunate. That was really good in theory, but you didn't have, since your support died, you didn't, and your other support is more, you didn't have the heal, like the type of healing you needed to win that fight. But in theory, that the way you played that was very good. Yeah, well, not necessarily. You don't need to wipe. The way it was played, eventually you needed to wipe, but just because your Mercy died first, you don't need to wipe. If you can get a trade kill or 2 on one of their healers. Yeah, you do need to go. You need to take this fight soon. Get on Mercy. Call out Mercy, though. She just flew into the thing. That was really bad bubble placement. You could see that she was walking into her Ana, and even if you didn't know the Ana was playing there, right, that's the Mercy walking into their Ana right there. Even if you didn't know Ana was playing here, she's been playing in this doorway the entire game. So even if you didn't know for sure, you can assume by the way that she's been playing the entire game, she's going to be there, especially because of the way the Mercy was walking. So if you had saved Bubble for when she walked over to the Mercy, you could have blocked the nade and killed her, you could have blocked the shots and killed her, you could have blocked pretty much everyone shooting at you, and you would have kind of stayed alive. But again, these are the things that probably kind of hindsighty, you know? Not everyone thinks to do that mid-game. Especially, people who don't read it or don't pick up on the patterns of what's going on, and that's really hard to do while you're playing simultaneously. Especially, you sound like you're calling a bit, so you know if you're like the IGL or something, it might be even harder to call out. Yeah. So your team has next to no coordination. I noticed. It's like 0 coordination, so definitely I'm not gonna write that, so definitely, you know, make comps make comps for every map in your league, right? And then communicate, figure out how you want to communicate. If you want to be a loud team where everyone communicates, if you want to choose one, 2, or 3 people that call specific things out, you know, one person calls engages, one person calls targets mid-fight, one person calls strats in between fights for the next fight. One person that person would call out, you know, what ults we want to use, what ults we're willing to use, stuff like that. Even makes one of your guys call swaps mid-round. Definitely, I would say don't play Mora, probably ever. She's not a good hero. Previously, she was only played in goats, which you don't know what that is. It's 3/3. It's Lucio Brig. It used to be Lucio Brigmora, Ryan Zarya Diva. But recently, Mora has been completely kicked out of that. Ana has replaced her, so definitely try and pick up for your second support player that wasn't your Lucio / Mercy, who, even if he's a main support player, if he can't aim, that's technically a big enough hero pool for him to get by with. But definitely I recommend both of your support players trying out, at the very least, Ana. For both of them. Definitely try to get your Mora player to pick up Zen as well. Definitely an important, those, like, having a, in this metagame especially, having a support players with a deep hero pool, it's like the first time it's ever actually been necessary, and even then it's not super necessary, because if you have like a Lucio, Zen, and an Ana player, you're kind of set, right? But definitely work on those things. And you know, you guys, you're playing pretty okay, you know. Mechanically, you're fine. You're what's it called? Your Fares seems pretty okay. On Tracer, who's getting entry kills, massive barrages at like every fight that you won. So definitely when you're winning, he is winning, if that makes sense. For your Winston, I would recommend going into a bot game, or like a custom game with bots, or something, or no, not even bots, and just jumping around a bunch of the maps, trying to figure out like how you need to do the jumps, because I noticed your jumps aren't horrible, but they could definitely improve, and that would definitely improve your overall play in the game. You don't communicate your dives with your diva at all, so definitely talk with your diva more while you're in game. For your, I didn't get to see your Ryan. Maybe it'll be in the next map, but for your Orisa, definitely think about your shields, but make sure that you place them, right? Because on the first map as Orisa, there were a lot of times where your shield was off cooldown and you didn't have a shield on the ground, and your team is taking very unnecessary damage. And a big thing, right? So this was you, this is your team, this is their team. Like for a couple seconds during the fight, every so often, they would have this, and then you would have nothing, and then there would be a delayed shield, right? And then that he would take some damage, and your team is behind in the fight. You know, so definitely things to consider. Overall, I don't know how new your team is. Does it say? Mostly comprised of noobs. Yeah, I mean, most of the people on your team are new, I guess. So definitely keep playing together. You guys definitely will improve the more you play together as a team. You'll both improve as a team and individually. So, you know. Yeah. Tanks are huge. I always want to know the ratings of the other players, actually. Wait, what are their names? I'm gonna see if it's they're on overbuff. Oh fuck, I did over. I'm intelligent. Alright, so yeah, you guys might have just been getting completely outclassed here, to be honest. Did I? 29. Why did I say 75? Gold, okay. I might not be able to find that last guy. He doesn't have a particularly creative name. Yeah, I don't see him. Or does it not? Yeah, well, I'm gonna assume that he's around the same level as the rest of his team. Like, I'm gonna assume he's plat, so even if he is gold, you guys were getting outclassed by at least 2 of their players, and I don't know the previous ranks of their players, so it might just be a complete skill difference. You know, definitely, again, keep playing with your team, and yeah, good luck with your stuff.